This conference will now be recorded.
So let's get started with the demonstration of MSBI. Okay, before jumping onto the MSBI, we'll look into the small intro of mine as well as yours. Okay, and then we'll jump onto the demonstration of MSBI. As if you know, my name is Muhammad and I'm the instructor for this module. I've been training this for a long time now. I have close to about 10 years of working experience into information and technology. I have plethora of skills in my alley. I work with many end-to-end data warehousing, data migration, data deep dive, data research projects. Okay, and I have supported multiple clients, which includes working with retail, infrastructure, and healthcare. Okay, when I say healthcare, what we do is we basically perform the conversion or deconversion of the VM practice management, wherein we have to pull the data from data warehouses, and accordingly we have to look at the source data, scrub it, cleanse it, and by using the multiple temporary table and then load the into the other databases. Okay, now not only this, I have been working with many clients solutionizing the ETL part of it, wherein the major responsibility I take is solutionizing everything end to end. Okay, I go ahead and analyze the data across the systems into the operational side of this and provide them the solutionizing phases of exactly what we can come to an business conclusion. Okay, for me, doing ETL efforts, I have been doing it using SSIS. Okay, now coming to many projects which I have take care of is I basically run multiple projects parallelly. So it's not that I'm just binded to the ETL or just binded to the data warehousing scope limited. Uh, I also work with data visualization projects, okay, by providing scorecard business dashboards to the end users wherein they have their own set of expectation on top of the type of visualization. Okay, so for visualization, I use SSRS. Okay, apart from this, I have been training MSBI from a long time for multiple students. Okay, from here, India, over there, US, UK, Australia. So this is what I have with me. So I would appreciate if you guys can unmute and speak about yourself so that I can understand where you guys stand and what exactly you guys are looking uh, when you say MSBI module. Okay, Chris, can you unmute yourself and please speak for a moment?
Hi, this is Ramya. I have around 5 years of experience in IT, and in
Mhm.
these 5 years, I have experience in SAP ABAP. I worked as SAP ABAP technical consultant, and recently, like last almost 2 years, I'm working on this SSIS and SSMS, and I have little knowledge on the Power BI also. Last 2 years, I mean to say, I'm completely working in the data warehousing project, and I just want to improve myself as this MSBI, SSRS and SSAS. I need to understand end to end. I do not have the knowledge on that.
Great,
Yeah, this is my overall experience.
thank you. Priyanka?
Yeah, hi, Priyanka here. I'm working since 2 years in SQL developer and SSIS developer, and have few little knowledge on Power BI. I don't have any knowledge on SSIS and SSRS, so I want to improve those skills.
Okay, great. And Chris?
I work as a business analyst and just want to upskill my knowledge in MSBI. This idea of taking up the course.
Great. So it becomes very easy when candidates are already aware of things what I'm going to explain and so basically so let's jump on to the MSBI. Okay, Yeah, Ramya.
Yeah, sorry, Mohammed. But
Okay.
means we know, we have the real-time experience, but we need basics. Maybe if you think we already know, like you, if you move top of that, we just want to understand from the basic knowledge first. That is what we are looking actually. We
Basic
don't have
knowledge.
the basic knowledge means, for example, SQL. We travel from different projects to the SQL, but we are not good at basic level. We have the knowledge in real time, but we have not taken any, openly speaking, we did not get any training on SSIS or SSMS, but we are working in the real time projects. But we just want to travel to the basic onwards.
Okay. Okay, no worries.
Okay, thank you.
So what I am expecting is, Mohammed, if you go to the SSMS, now new features came, right? Pali base, all those concepts, we are not at all aware of those things. So in like that, those concepts in SSIS, we don't know about XML source. We are aware of only Excel sources. So we need to know all about those things also.
Okay, great. Any other things?
Hmm.
Okay. I believe you guys can see the screen, right? No?
I'm able to see.
Thank you. Now, basically, when you say why do we use SSIs? What is MSBI, first of all? Okay, let's see what is MSBI. Okay, what is MSBI, guys? It is a tool, right, provided by Microsoft in order to provide the business intelligence to the business. Now, when you say MSBI, it has three different segments, or you can say it as modules in it. Okay, one is SSIS, another one is SSRS, and the third one is SSAS. Okay, now when you say SSIS, this stands for integration purpose. Okay, the ETL purpose. ETL, migrating the data from one source to another source. Then you go with the SSIS as a part, integration services. What we basically do on regular basis. Okay, and now when you say SSRS, SSRS stands for SQL Server Reporting Services, which is nothing but the visualization reports, giving the visualization using reports. Okay, and analysis services in order to analyze the data and give the performance to the report. Okay, now this three stands for MSBI. Okay, now in order to understand SSIS, SSRS, and SSAS, we also have to have the knowledge of SQL Server. It's important to have the knowledge of SQL Server. Okay, now what is SSIS basically? What happens is you may have data, okay, coming out from multiple heterogeneous sources, right? It could be any source. It could be any source. See, sometime what happens, you will not get data from one single source, right? So this could be your SQL source, okay, SQL source. This could be your Excel source or a flat file source or any source or XML sources, right? This could be your JSON source wherein you need to parse the JSON, XML source or JSON source wherein you need to pull the data from each and every JSON from the different servers and load the data into your destination by passing the JSONs, right? So in order to pull the data from different heterogeneous sources, okay, from different heterogeneous sources and load it into your and load it into your destination server. Okay, from where you can perform the business logics, apply the operations and everything. Okay, it could be anything. So majorly what we use is SQL Server in order to hold the data. Now the process of pulling the data, okay, the process of pulling the data, making the changes using the transformation and loading is done using SSIS. Extract the data from heterogeneous sources, extracting the data, transferring the data, and load the data. So basically, when you're trying to extract the data, why do you need to use the transformation, right? A question might come in. So let's suppose I'll give you a simple example, okay? And so let's say you're trying to pull the data from a SQL table, okay, on a daily basis. Okay, today what you have did is you have loaded the data into the SQL table, okay, in your SQL table, and you already have the data over there. Now what happens tomorrow? Again, you want to rerun the package, okay, and those data is already present in your destination. You do not have to insert the duplicate data into your destination tables. How will you basically stop the insertion of duplicate data into your destination table? Using SSIS. Priyanka or Ramya. So basically what do? Is we use transformations now. Transformations comes into picture when you have this kind of requirement, wherein you need to stop the flow of the duplicate data into destination again and again using a transformation which is known as lookup transformation. What we can do is we can look into the source data as well as the destination data, okay, and then accordingly we can load the data into your destinations. Clear? Now
Yeah.
now what happens? We have loaded the data into your SQL server, right? Now you got everything into your destination servers. Okay. Now this is your source server, destination servers. Now what you have to do in order to give the things to the business, you need to I'm sorry, develop the reports, right? Develop the reports. Now what kind of reports will you develop? There are n number of reports. Okay. When you go to the SSRS, there are multiple reports what we can use it. Okay. Now pulling the data from your source system, okay, and developing the reports in order to understand and give the clear picture, okay, in order to give the clear picture of what business is going on, okay, what business is going on is done by your SSRS. This can be done by using SSRS, guys. Okay, SQL Server reporting services. We have again multiple type of reports here. Now developing the report onto the development server will not help you. We also need to publish the report, right, onto the different servers. So once the report is developed, you need to publish it onto the reporting server, and from this reporting server, what happens is this will get replicated to managing server. Okay, we'll talk about what is reporting server, what is manager server. Okay, now when you say manager server, so if you see the reporting server, you'll only look into the uh, you can only execute the report on top of those servers. Okay, when you see the manager server, okay, what you can do is on top of manager server you can play with the reports, you can play with the data. Okay, you can maintain the history, you can take a snapshot, you can schedule it to get triggered n number of times daily, this much. Okay, you know scheduling, right? How we schedule anything, jobs. So this kind of administrative stuff as well as we can do it on top of manager server. Okay, if you want to give the users access to perform the operations on top of reports, those things can also be done on top of manager server. Okay, now after developing a report, what happens is, so see, basically you have developed and you have pushed the report, published the report on top of a server. Let's say this is the server, manager server. Okay, now what happening is whenever it is triggering the report, whenever it is hitting the report, I mean to say executing the report on top of the server, what it is doing is it is going back to SQL server. Okay, it is going back to SQL server. It is going back to SQL server in order to pull the data, okay, and generate the report on top of this server. Now what's happening is you have scheduled the report to get generated uh, sometime, let's say uh, 10 p.m. 10 p.m. daily. Okay, now what's happening here is because it is going back to SQL server, hitting the tables, getting the data again and again. Okay, what is happening, instead of 10 p.m. the report is generating at 10 p.m. It's daily. Okay, now what's happening here, 10 minutes delay is happening, right? This should not be done. When you say 10 p.m. on exact 10 p.m. the report should be ready and you should be able to look into the reports. Okay, so we need to handle this kind of situations, okay, wherein performance issues comes in. Okay, now these issues can be handled using snapshotting, subscribing, okay, maintaining things in history, pointing the snapshot to the history and picking up the recently executed report and showing the report. This kind of things we can perform on top of the manager server. Okay, as well as what happens after developing a report is we need to give the performance to the report as well, right? So in order to get the performance, what we can do is we can use SSAS. Okay, SSAS. Now what is SSAS now? Anyone? Priyanka, Ramya, why do we use
I
SSAS
don't have
basically?
much idea, Mohammed, about SSIS, but something we create cubes like that. How that something like that.
Great. Okay. Now, when you say SSAS, SQL Server Analysis Services, okay, it is nothing but developing cubes. Now, what is cubes? What it will point to? Cubes. Okay, when it develops cubes, what are cubes, right? Cubes are nothing but the combination of your fact and dimension tables. Okay, now the cubes are nothing but combination of fact and dimensions. Now, when you say cubes, okay, what will happen is it also gets the data from the SQL server. It also gets data from the SQL server. tables. Okay, but then you have flexibility over cubes in cubes. Okay, once developed, you will also deploy this on top of the SSAS server, analysis server. Okay, you'll deploy these cubes on top of the analysis servers. Okay, now why it gives the performance? Because we have lot of performance improvement techniques inside SSAS. Okay, what kind of techniques? We can slice the cube. Okay, let's suppose what was happening when this report was generating is it was hitting this table. Okay, let's say table ABC, which has 10 crores of data. Okay, and giving the reports. Okay, now this cubes will also ABC and few other tables as well. Okay, few other tables ABC, let's say MNO. So in this way there were multiple tables. Now in which we have 3 to 4 crores of data. Now what was happening? Because of the huge amount of data, it was getting delayed. Okay, now when you say cubes, okay, what we can do is, okay boss, what business is exactly looking into? Okay, these many columns. Okay, every time whenever they are hitting the table, what kind of columns, they are looking into and analyzing their business. Okay, those kind of things can be done inside cubes, and what we can do is we can slice the cubes. Okay, and we can use those part in order to generate the report. Okay, let's slice the part in order to generate the reports on top of this server. Clear? So therein where what happens, the performance gets improved. Okay, with the help of the performance techniques as well inside SSIS. So not only slicing, there are n number of performance improving techniques, but we will be looking into the concept while going on. Okay, so this whole story is nothing but the MSBI, wherein the data is from heterogeneous sources systems. Need to load the data according to the business logic, business checks. We need to load the data and then develop a report and push the reports or publish the report on top of servers, right? And using SSAS, we slices the cubes, we dice the cubes, we use performance improvement techniques, and then from those cubes we basically develop the cubes. Okay, and in order to understand, in order to play with reporting as analysis and SSIS, we need to also have the knowledge of SQL Server. You need to also have the knowledge of SQL Server development. Okay, SSMS. Any questions, guys?
As of now, no.
Okay. Now this was all about MSBI. Now jumping on to the topics what we basically train on a regular session. Okay, let me quickly open a WordPad in which has everything in it. So when you see SSIS, okay, so if we are going for a training, we will not jump onto the advanced topics, whether the student knows or student is aware or not aware of anything. We go with the basic of things, like giving the introduction, which is done right now, of SSIS, how SSIS works, different components in MSBI done, right? Now jumping on to the concept of SSIS, core SSIS. which is control flow, data flow, workflow, precedence constraint. One of the important topic, precedence constraint, right? If you guys remember, without this precedence constraint make expressions, there are few cases where we cannot proceed, right? Annotations, containers, these are the basic things you need to have the knowledge of, right? And now coming on to the data flow tasks. Okay, now wherein data flow task is nothing but what performing the exact ETL, wherein we pull the data, we manipulate the data, or we transform the data and load the data into your destination. Now you see data viewer, copy, these are the few basic things. Okay, and now jumping on to the advanced topics like conditional split, merge join, data conversion, derived column transformation, lookup, with cache transformation, SCD transformation. There are a number of transformations, right? So you guys know what is the difference between SCD and lookup?
No.
Because okay, um, Priyanka or Ramya, anyone?
We know SCD, but the lookup we don't have knowledge.
Have you ever used SCD?
SCD tables we have used in our project.
Okay, SCD tables. Okay.
Yeah, slowly
Basic
changing.
for users we use, but not in the packages we used SED.
Yeah, slowly changing dimension tables
Okay.
we have used.
So basically, SCD will help you to have the historic records. Okay, if you want to maintain the historical record, you can go with SCD. Okay, basically SCD type 1 and lookup are one and the same. Okay, now in SCD type 2 you can have the historical record in place. Okay, we look into that in a coming session. Okay, now we also see is it coming on to the control flow components. This is sequence container, looping of files, dynamic, how the dynamic behavior will be. Okay, how to make things dynamic while looping of files from multiple files to one file. Okay, one table. So variables with default values and how to do everything. We go ahead and look into that. We also see script task, one of the important tasks, right? You guys are aware of script task, I believe. .NET coding, we can perform .NET coding. If does anyone knows .NET coding here?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so there are multiple things, okay, which is done by script task or script component. So basically, script task will help you to write a .NET code and perform the operation. It make things very simple. Okay, so we look into that as well. We'll take one or two examples how script task will help us, and then look into the debugging, adding a breakpoint, and execute SQL task. Important task. Execute SQL task, right? There are a lot of situations wherein you need to anyhow use execute SQL task. Then we have send mail task, execute package task, insert task, file system task, FTP. This is file system task is used for archiving purpose, right? Then we will see how to handle the error output. Then on to the checkpoints, logging, configurations. Then we will see a deployment mode. Basically, I believe we never do the deployment, right? Does anyone has did the deployment of SSIS packages?
We'll follow with the DBA team only. We don't do. We just used to give the spec files.
You just create a packages and leave the packages, right? on top
Yeah.
of server.
Yeah.
So there will be situations wherein you also need to deploy the packages. Okay, so we will look into the deployment part of it as well, wherein we play with parameters. You know variables, right? Variables here in SQL Server. In the same way, we also have something known as parameter concept in SSIS. Parameter, see, when you say variable, it is scope limited, right? Now, parameter is kind of a variable only, which is not scope limited, okay, which can be triggered outside the package, SSIS package I'm talking about, okay. Then job scheduling using the job agent of sequence. So this is what we basically train on SSIS. Now we're jumping on to the SSRS. When you see SSRS, we have a number of things again. Introduction, architecture of SSRS, as if I've told you, after development, where do we deploy, how do we deploy, on top of deployment of the SSRS reports on top of servers, what kind of operations needed to be taken care and what kind of operations can we do. Those all things comes onto the architecture, and in order to understand work with the things, we need to know what is report server, what is report manager. Then we see basic reports, and then we jump onto the each and every topics. Different reports, drill down, drill through, ad hoc, action reports, label reports, cascading, parameterized report, important report, drill through reports, list report, rectangle report, gauge, indicator, and then we see deployment of these reports. Okay. In the same way, we see administrative stuff as well on top of the report server. Then coming on to the SQL Server analysis services. Ramya, you have anything?
No, Mohammed.
Okay. So on top of SSAS server, we again have same things. But then here, if you see introduction part, then dimension, fact, you know about schemas, right?
Yeah.
What is
Yeah.
star
Yeah.
schemas? What is snowflake schemas? We look into that, how to connect to source, what is source view, how do you create a cube. There are multiple ways of creating a cube, okay. You can either create a empty cube, either you can create a cube with the existing tables, okay, and deploy, browse the cubes. Now you see relationships, right? You know about relationships as well. One to one, one to many, no relation, regular relation, fact relations, right? Referenced relationships.
Yeah.
So these many relationships. This is something different. Fact relationship. Okay. Regular is regular. Fact is different. What we will look into the things. Referenced is different. Okay. And I believe I'm missing one relationship. No regular fact. Many to many relationship. Factless fact. Here it is. Factless fact. We look into this. What is many to many? Any idea? So inside those hierarchies, developing the hierarchies and using those hierarchies as a source system every time. Okay, and role playing dimensions, KPIs, actions, translations, calculations, aggregations, everything inside a cube, and then at last cubes and reports. Okay, so these all are the performance techniques. We can basically have it and look when the data is very huge. Then we see SQL Server as well. Okay, wherein we see a lot of topics, basic topics. You guys are aware of this as well, right? Identity constraints and all.
Yeah.
So these many topics what we basically train. See, when you say MSBI, only three module comes in. Okay, so when a student is not aware, or we from the institute side, what we have did is, You also have added SQL Server in the MSBI topic, because SQL Server, you need to have some knowledge on SQL, right? That is what we give. Development knowledge on stored procedures, triggers, functions, views, CTs, important concepts, exceptional handling, what we can use in regular basis.
You're going to explain all these things also, right?
Yes,
Okay.
local, table, variable, everything. So this is what we have with us when we say MSBI.
Can we can you guys provide notes also, Mohammed, any chance for all those topics, or we have to take a written notes?
No, you need to take a running notes. I do not have any notes for these topics.
Uh,
Okay.
recording you will provide, right? Daily
Yes,
basis.
recording will be provided on daily basis. Okay. And the sessions would be not the one way. We'll have the two-way session. I mean to say, the communication. If you have any questions, you can stop me at any point and ask me. Okay. On any topics.
And before the class starts, you're going to help us, right? Whatever the softwares we need to install.
Yes, of course. Software, what software you need is only two software. SSMS you already have, right? Now, in order to perform with SSRS and SSAS, you just need SQL Server data tool. We have Google it. We
We
have
are
Google
using visuals. We can use Visual Studio also, right? No?
anything. You can use SSDT.
What's
If
the
you see
different moment like SSDT and Visual Studio? We use Visual
versions,
Studio versions.
versions.
Versions, okay.
See, if you see 2013 version,
Mm-hmm.
this was 2010, 12 SQL Server data tool.
Which
And
one
see,
you want?
into it's up to you guys. See, you can use. I have 2012. I have 2014. I have 2010. If you see Microsoft Visual Studio, basically in order to explain, perform the operation, I go with regular Microsoft Visual Studio 2010. Okay.
One more thing, moreover, we are looking also an interview preparation point of view also, Mohammed. So it's like, can you let us know, like whenever you are discussing any topic, what's the difference between 2018, 12, 14, and what's like we need like interview point of view also. Any
See,
topic you are
about
discussing.
Visual Studio, if you're talking about Visual Studio, so what happens is there might be few additions in the components. Okay. So the deployment will get changed. How you deploy the as 2008. Let's suppose 2008 the deployment model was different of SSIS. In 2010 or and from 2010 the deployment mode is something different. So this kind of differences I can show you. Okay, there might
Yeah.
be a number of transformations added. I don't think transformations has been added. Control flow components, I believe they have added few different components.
Yeah, just
Okay,
what I want is like in just interview point of view also. Just
sure,
whenever
sure.
we go to interview, we
So
need to face the
yeah, whenever we are going to train, let's suppose we are training on this multiple topics today. So what we do is we basically also tell these are the interview questions and all. You guys can note it down at that time. Okay,
Okay.
definitely those will be the interview questions. So if you see when a daily how we go is a daily 1 hour of session Monday to Friday, and the whole course takes 35 days of time, 35 hours Monday to Friday. Or you also have an option of weekends. If you guys are ready to take it on weekends, we can have 3 hours of session a day on weekends, and we can go with that as well. Any questions, guys? Priyanka, Ramya.
Yeah, I'm good.
What are the timings? Same timing every day?
Yes, the same time. Might be half an hour before only. We joined at 7 a.m., right? You guys are from India?
Yes, time zone.
I'm sorry?
Central time zone, US.
We are in US.
Okay, great. So you won't have any problem joining at 6:30 a.m. IST. The time you joined today, half an hour
Oh,
before.
6:30 a.m. Oh, no, it's the same time.
7.
Today, 7:30 CST. That would be better. It will be very early. I mean, it's too early to me.
Okay. No, I'm not talking about CST. IST I'm talking about.
Yeah, for you guys, it's 6:30 means for us 7.
Yeah, 7 IST is better for us.
7 a.m. IST?
Mm-hmm.
Great. Okay. Okay.
Will
No
you
problem.
give us assignment after every class?
Great. We have daily assignments. You see assignments on top
Yeah,
of topics,
that help us a lot to prepare
multiple topic
interview.
Yeah.
assignments, examples, assignment of these examples. So sometimes what I do is there are interrelated components. Okay. So what I do, I explain one component and I give another component as assignment. So what you should do is you should do the assignment. If you're
Mm-hmm.
not getting the assignment, you should let me
Mm-hmm.
know in the
Mm-hmm.
next session so that I can show the example or I can give you the hint.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah, but
If you're
like
not,
every component we need in detail. Actually, we worked on all these components in SSL, but still, like 6 months ago, I worked, so just I forget all the components in
no
detail, and we
worries.
have.
We will give in detail
Mhm.
explanation, examples. I told you, right? Multiple
Yeah.
examples. And we say multiple examples in detail explanation of each and every component.
Okay.
Okay, great. So if no questions, let us wrap up the session here, guys.
Okay, so if we are comfortable everything, so our next session will be tomorrow.
Navya will let you know the timings and date and timings.
Okay.
Okay, I need to speak with Navya and then decide things.
Okay.
Okay, from tomorrow, probably from tomorrow or day after
From.
tomorrow.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
no worries.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Have a nice day, guys.
Yeah, you too.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.